Well, good morning. It is a Friday. Happy Friday, the 13th. Oh, my God. And Viking Stew here, back with Hammer Away on a Friday. Let's get back into it here. So, yeah, it's Friday. We're heading into the big weekend prior to St. Patrick's Day, which means a lot. I'm Irish. I don't believe in luck. Let's talk about that. Let's not talk about that. But I don't. But that's okay. I am blessed to have many things in my life. So, including you all and this and talking about music. That's what it's about. Music, movies, nostalgia, whatever. But yeah, big weekend. Got another gig coming up this weekend with my band, Edge of Blue. We're going to be doing some cool songs. Always doing cool songs. It's great to get back into it. And it's been a little while. And it was great to be hanging out with the Machines last week, sitting in and kind of getting back in the groove. So that's awesome. We'll take it down a little bit. I'm going to make sure that I have I was doing a couple of extra things this morning, so I didn't get my knife out. So let's do that. I think this is it. This might be a better one. No, it is not. This one though. It's always good to have choices. Good to have choices. If I didn't think you didn't know any better, you might think I've already been hitting that stuff. All right, I'll put that in there. All right. So a few different things today. We'll get into. We have, first of all, Van Halen. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I want to show you my collection of things. The one thing I don't seem to be able to locate, I don't know if it went completely sideways and I got rid of it. I can't assume that I did that, but because I just don't do that, especially when it has artwork on it. I tend to really enjoy getting bits of rock and roll artwork that I know I can repurpose for something different. Like this was not originally mine. Not quite sure where I got this. However, I do have a player back there on which I could play it. But I do own it, and it looks like it's in really good shape as well. It's the Van Halen 2 on 8-track. So really cool. There you go. And it's got a nice little label there. I'd be eager to know if you're familiar with 8-track, or if you're watching me right now at an age or experience situation where you have no clue what I'm talking about and what I'm showing you right now. This was, I took these off, but let me put these back on. This was a time when music was fantastic, but the media on which we heard it, or from which we heard it, it was not always great, and it did silly things like this one. If you'll notice closely here on 1, okay, somebody get me a doctor, and then it goes out. What does that actually say there? BEG, beg to get this. That's what it stands for. Beg to get this on vinyl so you don't have to do this. That's what it means to me. And then continued. Can you believe that? It was the stupidest thing next to FM radio with all its commercials. Now I get it. I understand they need to make money, and that's I'm not at all. I'm just saying it all stems from a moment when I was riding my bike down the trail, and this guy in a red convertible comes driving down the road, blaring a car sales ad on his stereo. I'm like, yeah, that's bitching, bro. I'm like, can you turn it down when there's a commercial so you don't look like a dork? So yeah, but that's what they would do, is they'd start a song on a program. This one is number 1 and it goes to number 2 and then it finishes the song. So if you can imagine one of your Somebody Get Me a Doctor is a freaking awesome song, right? As are all of the songs on this record. But Somebody Get Me a Doctor, I mean, you're right in the, and then it'll either just stop or it'll fade out and then ka-chunk, and then it'll go and it'll fade back in or just start again. Stupid, but I am very happy to have this. Now, I bought the last Van Halen album to come out on 8-track. I bought it on 8-track when it was new. And like I say, I'm not sure where it is. It might be here somewhere, and I may have just misplaced it. But I was looking for it this morning. I couldn't find it, and we'll get into that in a minute. Here is my vinyl collection of Van Halen. We have the awesome start to the whole thing with Van Halen. Van Halen 2. I don't know what, and something happened here. I don't know. It must have fallen. I got a little dink there. I'm not happy about that. And then I thought there was a little scritch on the back here, but that's a part of the picture. So I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's right. So Van Halen 2. These are all my originals. These are all the bits. If it's not, I'll tell you. Still in pretty good condition. Got a little bit of a frontal wear on the bottom of that one. Women and Children First. Again, I don't know what it. I'd have to think about the physics of this as to why I get this, but I don't really get anything up here. I got a little bit of a crease in it here. Something happened there. I don't know what. There we go. And next we have Fair Warning. Fantastic record. Great songs. I was talking to a buddy of mine, Marty, who plays up in the Chicago, Wisconsin area. And he and I were chatting about doing another gig before I die, and or he dies, we could play a gig together again. And I said, well, of course you've got to play Eruption. It's kind of a thing you do because you're so freaking good at it. And he's been doing it for so many years. I remember, see, Marty is a buddy of mine. He's been on the show before with me, and we talked about music and being in different kinds of bands and stuff. Marty Craven's his name. And right now he's in a Bon Journeyed is the name of one of the bands that he's in. And of course you can imagine Bon Jovi, Journey. So fantastic guitar player. But I remember back in high school sitting down with him while he was learning Greengrass and High Tides on a Telecaster copy, a cream colored Telecaster copy on his Crate amp. And then here it is, decades later, I would be working for SLM, working on the anniversary version of that Crate amp. So it's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Diver Down. There you go. This is the one that I had on 8-track. And it was the last Van Halen album to come out on 8-track. God forbid they should ever try to do that again. Don't do it. If you think about it, stop. And of course, there you go. 1984. What a wonderful album cover. What a wonderful album. It is what you would call a great album. It is front to back outstanding. I had one other piece in there that I'll show you here in just a little bit. It's a gift that I got. So then let's take a look. This is what we're going to be opening up. There we go. It feels like it. I don't know. No, it's okay. I just was wondering what was going on. They even put my name on it. What? Okay, that's weird. So yeah, there we go. That's what we're going to open up first. And before I do that, let's take a look at here's my original collection of Van Halen CDs. There you go. Van Halen, Van Halen 2, Women and Children. Fair warning, you guys are going to start feeling like you're getting deja vu. Diver Down, 1984. And then I just realized today that I'm going to have to figure out what happened to the cover of 5150. I was working at a radio station when this album came out. So that was one heck of a summer, I'll tell you, because Van Halen, David Lee Roth came out with Eat 'Em and Smile, and I was playing Yankee Rose on the radio, and then Van Halen came out with this, and wow, really, really cool. A great summer for that. And then I'm doing a little bit of something with Van Halen Live. This is really well recorded. They did just put out a new. They put out a newer version of it that I was checking out today on Amazon, because I'm always curious as to what's out there. So, all right, so let's get into this box set. Now, you probably these days nobody's looking at anybody going, okay, so if you have all the CDs there, why did you need this? Well, it's cool. I don't know. When you get into these kind of collections, it's kind of about reminiscence, and they know this, when they market these things. It's twofold. They know that they're going to get the folks who have never had the records before, or the CDs, and also they think about people minimizing, but they also think about the nostalgia behind. Wouldn't it be cool if I had a CD? I mean, if I'm going to have the CDs, wouldn't it be kind of cool if I had them? They'd look like an album. So that's kind of what these are. I think they're different things to different people. For me, it's cool, like little records, and the prices are usually pretty good. Some of them are a little more expensive than I think they need to be. However, some of them have remasters in them. That's not what this is. I was going to pull this note up because I was looking these up last night because I was interested to know a little about them. Are they remasters? Are they not? So on this box set, here's some of the interesting notes. This was still from Warner Brothers Records, not like my next one. It's not from its original deal. I would tell you art design, but that's really not a big deal. Engineers, you have Don Landy. That's interesting. Yeah, so Don Landy, who would later go on to do production with them, was the engineer on the early pieces when they were produced by Ted Templeman, who then would later go on, as far as some bands I would interview. Well, I met the Doobie Brothers, and he did a lot of their early work. He produced that, Ted Templeman did. But then also, when I interviewed the Bullet Boys for their first album, when they came through Peoria, they were produced by Ted Templeman. So, yeah, let me see. So this release has the Warner Brothers imprint before its rebrand to Warner. Released for all markets except Mexico. Studio album 78 was different outer box and print on back. So there you go. This is information from Discogs, which I love. It's a great place to go if you need to find some vinyl. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Somebody said that this entry is listed wrong. These are not remasters, which I had already assumed that. But these were clean transfers directly from the analog master tapes. Also, on the sound itself, there is no pumping, compressors, or limiters going on. Okay. So there you go. Yeah. Somebody else said a fantastic value box set, very high quality print and replica LP sleeves, plus the audio quality of, well, they say remaster here, is amazing. So we know now just master. Okay. So there you go. So let's get into this real quick so we can get her done. All right. So we're going to open this up. Let me get me pulled up again here so I know that what you're seeing. And before we do that, what do we got? Hey, Casey, how are you? Just saying hello. I'm training someone at work, or I'd be here. Ah, that's nice. I appreciate you stopping in and saying hey. Salvatore, always good to see you. Good morning to you as well. Happy Friday. And Blake, what's up, Cap? Thor, I can't make the tuners gig, but whenever you go back, I'll be there. That'll be October 17th. So put that on your calendar. October 17th. Edge of Blue will be back at Tuners. All right, here we go. If I had a little creaky noise. There we go. Here's your creaky noise. And on the back, it's got all the albums listed there. Pretty cool. These are nice. These do look good. First album, front and back. There you go. That is such a classic David Lee Roth photo. So cool. Very good. Let's see what the label looks like here. Put those other ones down. Oh, look at that. Kind of nice and simple. I kind of wish they would have done a little something else. I don't know. This kind of makes it's plain and simple. I mean, I'm a graphic designer, so I'm looking at this going, but that's not going to diminish the product. You're just there to listen to it. However, I'd have done it differently. That's all I'm going to say. I'd have done it differently. That's because I'm a dork. There we go. Van Halen 2. Very nice. Nice back cover photos. Beautiful. Beautiful photos. I think this is the one that is historic for Niels Lozauer redoing photos. There you go. Same kind of label. I guess I could have read these off. I'll start with this one. What is it about folks with the last name Ballard in music? I didn't realize that You're No Good was written by a gentleman named Clint Ballard. Clint Ballard Jr., to be exact. Because you got Russ Ballard, you've got Glenn Ballard, Clint Ballard. Interesting. You're No Good, Dancing the Night Away, Somebody Get Me a Doctor. Look, and it's not beginning and continued. How about that? Oh, Lord. Bottoms Up, Out of Love Again. I love Bottoms Up, but Out of Love Again is fantastic. Light Up the Sky. Good Lord. Spanish Fly, DOA, Women in Love, and Beautiful Girls. Let's take a step back here real quick. Let's talk about this first album too. I do like how readable. Maybe that's what they were going for. They knew that most everybody was going to be buying these were somewhere around my age. Running with the Devil, Eruption. There you go. You Really Got Me. That's what I was going to talk to him about when I was talking to Marty. I said, hey, you got to do Eruption. And I said, but we're not going to go into You Really Got Me. And he goes, okay. And I said, we're going to go into sure, Unchained. And he goes, oh, that's a great idea. You Really Got Me. Ain't Talking About Love. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow night. I'm the One. Jamie's Crying. Atomic Punk. Jamie's Crying was kind of fun because that was one of the songs that David Lee Roth says that he kind of likes writing tunes like that, or he liked writing tunes like that. I don't know how much he's still writing. He might be writing some things. But he said, I like to take songs that are kind of, poppy and kind of fun, and then, but put lyrics that are sad. So Jamie's crying. Atomic Punk, one of the best Van Halen songs ever. Feel Your Love Tonight, Little Dreamer, which is a great little departure when you're thinking about like Van Halen 2, like Beautiful Girls, not Beautiful Girls, like Women in Love, Little Dreamer, Ice Cream Man, and On Fire. Wow. I was talking with Blake Hastings the other day. You guys will remember that from Hypnostic. And we were talking about how to end a record. And that was a killer way to end a record. You truly did want to just start it over again, but at the same time want more. Women and Children First. Man, fantastic record. There's the back. That is one of my all-time favorite Van Halen photos right there. Just I mean, that's the energy right there. Each one's got something going on there. The quiet calm of Alex Van Halen, who isn't so it's not, that's his, he's kind of like John Entwistle in that way, where he's the quiet one, but he's not really so quiet when you get to know him. But yeah, and then Michael Anthony just kind of with that party mode, and look at that, Eddie Van Halen just doing the pointing the finger out, and Dave, it's crazy and awesome, just doing it any way he knows how. And The Cradle Will Rock, Everybody Wants Some, which I made a mistake this morning on a listing of songs. Fools, Romeo Delight, Tora, what a great little intro to Loss of Control. Take Your Whiskey Home, I want to do that in my band very badly. Could This Be Magic? Great harmonies. And In a Simple Rhyme, speaking of great harmonies as well, these guys had some kick-ass tunes and some great harmonies on those songs. Michael Anthony really was the hero on that. It's really fantastic, which was really one of the saddest parts of the BS that went down between, I can't even say between, because it's really not, I don't believe that it's the other members. And it's silly to ever say, well, I showed him all the bass lines to play. And you're like, yeah, that's what happens when you write a song. Nothing against anybody, but that's what happens when you write a song and you need to teach it to somebody, because you have all the ins and outs and the things you want to do. That's what you do. You show the bass player how to play it. He played it. So that's what matters. There we go. Fair warning. These are really well printed. I am not seeing a lack of anything. It's not like I look at this and go, wow, those are muted. If anything, the box is muted. I think the print on the box might be a little, could have been a little more on point. So yeah, you have Mean Street, Dirty Movies, Sinner's Swing, Hear About It Later, Unchained. Wow. Push Comes to Shove. So This Is Love, Sunday Afternoon in the Park, and One Foot Out the Door. All still produced by Ted Templeman. So well produced by Ted Templeman. All right, now we come to, what do you want to call this album? What do you want to call this album? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's far out. Look forward to seeing you there. And I thought of you, of course, when I'm like, Blake Hastings. Huh. Blake Snow. Blake and Blake. Sounds like a law firm. Blake and Blake. So Diver Down, interesting record when you think about it. Now, you have the Kinks cover of You Really Got Me. You've got the song that, Clint Ballard, that Linda Ronstadt made huge. Um, and then you get to this, and you're back to the Kinks. Where have all the good times gone? And then you have Hang 'Em High, which is a great song. Cathedral, Secrets, Intruder, leading into Roy Orbison, Oh Pretty Woman. And then you have the classic Dancing in the Streets, or Dancing in the Street, just one street. Then you have Little Guitars, the intro and the song. Big Bad Bill is Sweet William Now. I'm trying to remember, is that I think is that a cover? But anyway, the Full Bug, and then of course the classic Happy Trails to end out the record. It's a fun record. I'm not going to call it a great record to me. I just, with all the covers, I like how they do their covers, but they are straightaway covers. It's not like what I was talking about with Blake Hastings the other night, where we're talking about, wow, this cover of Ain't No Sunshine is really different, yet holds the essence, but is different. And things that I hear, Robert Barry do, and others, where they cover, when Yes did their version of America, still kind of the same, but there was really a yesness to it. So, but a lot of these were, straight ahead, heavier versions of these songs. And I'm not discounting the Van Halen record. It's just a lot of covers, and it's a good to really good record. For some people, it might be their favorite. I don't know. I listen to it a lot. I'm eager to listen to it right now. But if you ask me which one do I have to have, that ain't gonna hit the list. If you had a top 3 of these albums, that would not hit the top 3. This album really was an amazing point for these guys, and they toured through my hometown, and I walked around. I had to work that night, so I couldn't make it to the show, but I did go after work, and they were still playing, so I got to walk around the outside of the arena. Inside, it was the Peoria Civic Center, and so then you could walk in, and there was all the outer area around around the auditorium like usual. And I got to walk in there and listen. It was kind of weird. I don't know. It was strange to think that I could go inside and hang out in the building and listen to the concert. My friends were at the concert, and then we went. My buddy and I went to the hotel where they were staying and saw them for 1984. What a wonderful, fantastic cover this is. Now, one of these days, and I don't know where I'm going to put it, I have a huge, I don't know, it must be, I'm going to guess it's 5 foot long poster of this. Some of you may have seen it in a record store when this came out, but it had an elongated background of this, and in the cloud background, the sky background here, it had Van Halen is watching you. That's really cool. And there you go, band picture. Like I say, the print on these are fantastic. These look great. So, I mean, this album though, it's about as close to perfection as you can get for a hard rock pop album. It had this. So many different people could listen to this album and be pleased, and be accepting of some of the harder stuff along with this awesome pop stuff. That's the thing about it too. Let's just read this listing. 1984, Jump, Panama, Top Jimmy, Drop Dead Legs, Hot for Teacher, I'll Wait. What a great ballad. Girl Gone Bad, and it ends with House of Pain. I could listen to this album at any time. It's so fantastic. So fantastic. So yeah, there you go. It's the whole box set, the whole 6-album run with David Lee Roth. It's great. These look great. I hope they sound fantastic. We'll find out. And I'll get back to you on that and give you a quick note of yay. And let you know. But I wanted to open it up with you guys. I think that's a cool thing. Now, the only thing I didn't grab was my Cars vinyl over there. I did not get my Cars vinyl out. I have all of these, I believe, on vinyl. I did have to get the first album again, which looks like this. And this one, I was very fortunate. I think a friend of mine was getting rid of his collection, and I think he had this one in there. It's this big old remaster with 2 discs. It's a 2-disc set, which, you know, those are cool. I don't know how often do you listen to these kind of things. They're great to get. They're remastered. They're nice. They sound great. However, all the extras, sometimes the extras aren't that great. Torso, a good morning and a happy Friday to you. And so sometimes it's just a little too much. Especially when, you know, there's a couple of songs. This has some extra things on it. They Won't See You, a demo. Let me see. These are all demos. They Won't See You, Take What You Want, Wake Me Up, You Just Can't Push Me, and Hotel Queenie. So it's great to have it. I'm happy to have it. And I think I gave away the other one that I had, which was in the regular case. Candio, great follow-up to their first record. Panorama, not the greatest follow-up as a third album. Oh, you know what? I don't seem to have Shake It Up on CD. Well, that sucks. But that's okay, because now I have it. And of course, the amazing Heartbeat City. Produced by Mutt Lange. So there you go. You gotta love that, man, when you're I mean, that guy. The stuff he produced, and how popular it was. If you were willing just to go, if that's what you wanted, you have to remember, though, I think you have to remember, in those cases, a lot of it is about the producer, because the producer's going to either, you have 2 sides, as far as I'm concerned. You have 2 sides of producers. You've got the Mutt Lange, right? I call him the Mutt Lange. Robert John Mutt Lange. And then you have Tom Werman. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the gamut. Tom Werman to Mutt Lange. Because Tom Werman, to me, was the guy who produced a lot of very popular records. However, I don't always think that he got the best out of them. Whereas, interestingly enough, I don't know that, I don't know how far I can say that Mutt Lange got the best out of everyone, because he didn't always use everyone. Right? You have to know. You're in business. You have to know how to do that quickly. You have to get the record done. You have to get it done right. You have to get it done. So you have to get people in there. Sometimes they can just get it done. If the people who are on the record aren't doing the job, like we've heard a million times about the history of Kiss, then you have to get somebody in there who's going to get the job done. In Mutt Lange's case, it's my understanding. It's just an understanding. It's not truth. However, I think it probably is, that he worked with Mike Slamer a lot, because Mike Slamer, he'd worked with Mike for years in City Boy when he was producing them in their early career. That's some of the earliest Mutt Lange stuff that I know of, was with City Boy. And so, yeah, you got to do the business. You got to get it done, and it's got to be finished. So there's no time to mess around. So sometimes you just have to get somebody to get in there and do it. So anyway, I do have this collection. So the Cars, just what I needed box set, and the anthology. It's pretty good. It's good stuff. I mean, as you know, there's so much to pull from. And then they also had a couple of demo versions on here. So I will not try to read what that says. So yeah, they have Night Spots as an early version on here, which I really like Night Spots. So if it's an early version, that's cool. As long as it's good a quality. What do I care? So yeah, so let's take this and let's open it up and see what we got. Everybody, I hope you got something cool you're doing this weekend. Like I say, I'm going to be busy doing the gig. That's what I got to do after this. After I get wrapped up here, I'm going to go and start rehearsing. So I take my dog for a walk, which may be first, actually. All right, so here we go. We have the Cars original album series. These, if you go onto Amazon and look up original album series, it'll pull up all the different kinds that are available. The Cars, Doobie Brothers, I think there's a Linda Ronstadt, there's Fleetwood Mac, and some of the Jethro Tull, and I bought another one. I think there's one or two Chicago ones, but sometimes when you look at them, it's kind of, there's Journey ones, I know that. And down here you can see what you get. Now this one is fantastic because it's their first 5 records, and that's really that. I mean, it didn't go much further than that anyway, but it did go a little further than that. But yeah, I did get to see the Cars one time. I saw them on the Door to Door tour. They played in the Kiel Auditorium. It has the auditorium, and it's famous for where Styx signed their contract with A&M Records. So here's the back of the box, showing you again all the records there and their track listings. So these are on Elektra and through Rhino. Now let's I did pull up something about this as well. Let's see. It says that somebody had asked the Cars which CD box set is best to buy, and there was a guy who said there are 2 that I've seen: the Elektra years, 78 to 87, and the original album series. So which one is better sounding? I know the Elektra remastered, but I don't think the original album series is remastered. Having said that, being remastered doesn't automatically make it better sounding. Good point. Then it was, let's see. The thing about this one, this box set, this series, is that the first 3 albums are, let's see, are remasters. So the self-titled here, let's get back to this, and let me see if I can find this too on here. The band, let's talk about the band real quick. So Roy Thomas Baker, who did Queen and many others, but the most I know is Queen and the Cars that he did, that I have, and that I locked into my brain. One day we'll get into that. So he produced the early stuff. Mutt Lange came in and did Heartbeat City. But in the band, you've got on drums Dave Robinson, guitarist Elliot Easton, who I was very fortunate enough to hang out with him and his daughter at the NAMM show many years ago. Greg Hawkes on keyboards, which I was fortunate enough to get his vinyl solo record not too long ago in Florida. Benjamin Orr, of course, on bass and lead vocal work, and Rick Ocasek on guitar and lead vocal. And then it says I guess the songs were written by Greg Hawkes and Rick Ocasek. But I don't know. I thought Benjamin Orr wrote some stuff too. So anyway, it seemed like there was one note here at the bottom. Yeah, the first 3 albums in this set are remastered, but the last 2 are not. All right, so let's take a look and see how we got on the quality of print. Now this one, this box doesn't open. It's just a sleeve. They slide right into that. And here we go. All right, these have borders on them. Not a big fan of the borders, the color borders. I don't know if they do that so that when you're pulling them out, you know the difference, but I'd rather not. So you see this has a nice heavy blue border around it, this navy blue. I'd rather just go to silver like it originally did. And then you have, I don't know if they did that for wraparound effect or I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense. So there you go, the photo and everything from the back. The only thing missing, I wish it had something on the spine. Not like I'd be able to read it, but I still wish it had it. That's just me. Graphic designer, dork, geek. This one is kind of a burnt umber. Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't look at the disc. Let's see what this looks like. It's color coded, I think. We'll see if the other one is a burnt umber. So yeah, Good Times Roll, My Best Friend's Girl, just what I needed. I'm in Touch with Your World. That's kind of a cool little track. Don't You Stop. I really like Don't You Stop. You're All I've Got Tonight, though, is my favorite song on the record. And then Bye Bye Love, which actually is another big favorite of mine. Moving in Stereo and All Mixed Up. All Mixed Up would be a good one to do in my band. Although so would the other ones too that I really like. Bye Bye Love would work as well. All right, so let's take a look here at Candio with the kind of a burnt, kind of color there. And there we go. Just like the vinyl all those years ago. Benjamin Orr getting the center spot. He was the pretty boy of the band. So another produced by Roy Thomas Baker. Let's take a look at the disc here. Yep. They're color coding all the discs. There you go. All right. So this one has Let's Go. Let's see. Since I Held You. It's All I Can Do. I really like that one. Double Life. And Shooby-Doo. Candio. Why does it always have to be so hard to read? Oh, Night Spots. That's a great song. You Can't Hold On Too Long. Lust for Kicks. Got a Lot on My Head. I love that song. And Dangerous Type finishes it out. Great record. It's a great record. Next, let's see what we got for. Well, this one's like, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. The other one may be royal blue. This is really navy blue. Goes along with Panorama. Whoa! So there you go. Panorama. This has my one of my all-time favorite Cars tunes on it. There's the back, just like on the vinyl. Just kind of reminiscent of the Motels would end up doing a cover that was kind of similar. I'd be interested to know if it's the same design firm. And there we go. We got the blue label again there. All right. Let's see what's easier to read. Jeez, neither one. Thank you. Let's cheat, shall we? All right. So we have Panorama, Touch and Go. Give Me Some Slack. That's like one of my all-time favorite Cars tunes. Don't Tell Me No, Getting Through, Misfit Kid, Down Boys. Oh, the original Down Boys. Not the same Down Boys, but You Wear Those Eyes, Running to You, and Up and Down. Again, produced by Roy Thomas Baker. And there we go. I don't always love how tight they are when you're putting them back in. So I was like, am I going to cut this in half or what? Next, with the fire engine red border. I really don't like the border on the next one. But anyway, shake it up. There you go. Ooh, ooh, shake it up. So there's the back. Just like the vinyl. And on this one, you've got Since You're Gone. That was their big hit right off of it, too, with Shake It Up is another big hit, obviously. I'm Not the One. That was a hit. Victim of Love, Cruiser, A Dream Away. This Could Be Love, Think It Over, and Maybe Baby was the whole Shake It Up. Let's take a look at the label because should be a red. It's kind of pinkish, though. Would have been. There you go. Oh, I hate that. There we go. And lastly, I am really not in love with this outer border. Cars. Heartbeat City. Great album cover. Fantastic artwork. So good. But look at that border. I don't know. It's kind of a dark, sandy brown kind of bleh. It's puke color. No. Anyway, there you go. And your track listing for this one is, I mean, this thing is riddled with hits because they produced the hell out of it and came up with a great record. Hello Again, Looking for Love, Magic, Drive, Stranger, You Might Think, It's Not the Night, Why Can't I Have You, I Refuse, and Heartbeat City. Yeah, all the way up to 1984. Wow. And then 3 years later, and at the same time, Mutt Lange was working with Def Leppard. He had just wrapped up before this, 1984, he had just wrapped up with AC/DC, and then he left working with them to work with all these other folks, and really, really cool. Well, that's fun. That's a great little, see, it's nice, minimalistic. Boom, there you go. Save some space. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging with me on that. Let's move on here real quick. The next thing I wanted to show you, of course, went back out to, there you go. I'm going to show it to you again. Dirty River Records. There it is. So check out Dirty River Records if you're here in town in St. Louis area, right out 2nd Street out there in St. Charles, just across the river. And I saw this on the Facebook page, and I called him immediately. I'm going to take this sleeve off of it so that you can not get a glare as much as possible. I saw it on the Facebook page, called him. He said, I do have it. And it was $8. So I picked it up, and it's going to be a gift to my new buddy, Blake Hastings from HIPNOSTIC. And it is Creed from 1978, which is what this sticker says. So very good plus, 1978. So there you go, Creed. If you haven't heard this, just get out there and get on YouTube and listen to it. Or you can listen to it on Spotify, or I'm sure Apple Music has it. They put out a remaster on CD with extra tracks on it, some live stuff, and the live stuff is really cool. As a bass player, here's the back of it. As a bass player now and a lover of bass, and you see it's on Elektra Records there. Or Asylum Records, I'm sorry. Asylum Records. The bass player on this album is fantastic. The whole band is great, but damn, when you listen to this, I don't know. It's just great. Of course, you know, having the having the ability to just play bass, that would be fun sometimes. Just to kick back and do cool crap on the bass. If I'd started earlier, I'd probably be able to do it better. But yeah, some days it's tough when you're just like, oh man, I can't just rock out on the bass. I got to sing at the same time. And starting when I did, it just doesn't make it easy. So anyway, let's show you the rest of what I got at the Dirty River Records pickup the other day. I went through some boxes that I'd already kind of been through before, but I remember the first time I was kind of in a rush, and the other day I'd gotten done taking care of the car and that kind of stuff, and I was like, you know what? I asked him to hold that for me, and he wonderfully did. Thank you so much, Kyle. Dirty River Records, you Dirty River man. But yeah, so he was holding that, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to make him hold on to that forever. I'll drive out there. I got the time. I'll just drive out there and pick it up and see what else he's got. So I was looking through the dollar section again for things. Remember, these are things for the covers. So if the covers look, if these look a little worn to you, that's okay. I'm only getting them because I want to use them in some different crafts and different things like that. First off, look at this. This would be another one that'd be great on the wall. And we had this on 8-track when I was growing up. It's Elton John, Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player. So it's in pretty good shape. And just look at that. The 8-track didn't have all this. You couldn't see all this on the 8-track for sure. There was no opening up the 8-track. Let's see what the sleeve looks like and stuff. So it might be just a regular white sleeve. Yeah. So I've never had this on vinyl. Don't know what the vinyl looks like. I might take a look at it and see. Yeah, Daniel's on here. And another hit off of this. Yeah, Crocodile Rock's on here. Yeah. So I knew it had another hit because we bought it. So if we had it on 8-track, it meant there were hits on it. I'll just leave that for now because I'm going to look at that vinyl here in a bit. All right. And look at this. I have a version of this over there. I've had this for years just because I had to keep buying April Wine records live at the Alma Combo. Couldn't believe that was sitting in there and that I'd missed it before. There you go. This is like a classic lineup, and they opened for the Stones. That's what this is. This is like a they typed this out for the album, but it's a note that was left from the Stones. So they opened up that night. This is just some beautiful artwork. I just love it. So I have an autographed version of this over there. Yep. And it's got the nice sleeve inside with the lyrics to everything and drawings. Just really, really neat. A lot of fun. Lots of fun. And like I say, it was one of those that's got like the thick cardboard cover. So it was in pretty good shape. Speaking of in pretty good shape, this thing looks like it's in great shape. It's a Spyro Gyra album here. Breakout. It's in great shape. It's a glossy cover. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I can see it here. Let's see. 1986 was this album. I'm not familiar with it, but my buddy Joe Kingsbury, drummer, madman, and amazing singer, just played some drums along with one of their recordings not long ago. Now, this one I about flipped out when I saw the cover because I'm like, this is great. We're talking Thomas Dolby, the golden age of wireless, which has She Blinded Me with Science. Look how cool it is. It's a glossy cover. It's got a little bit of wear. You can see that right up here. And on the back cover, you can see a little bit up here. But overall, geez whiz. And what a great cover. What is it? Is it Aliens Ate My Buick? Is that the name of the other album that I didn't know about and then found out about it and bought it? Or no, I didn't buy it. I got it from my friend. And it was beautiful. I don't know what kind of condition this is in, though. It looks so, I don't know. I'll clean her up and see what happens. But I'm just like, wow. He was very creative, had some great things. And if you look up, maybe what I'll do is I'll read them to you. He has some great stories from when he spent a few days hanging out with Eddie Van Halen. So maybe I can look those up and we can read those. Maybe I'll do that on a different show. Because I don't want to spend too much of your Friday time. Now this I had to get because there was two reasons. First of all, I played hits from this Ruthless People soundtrack when I worked on the radio. This still has plastic on it and it's in wonderful shape. But you'll notice this right here. There's a Dan Hartman tune on here. Now, Dan Hartman, of course, had in the 80s had the huge hit I Can Dream About You, which appeared in the movie Streets of Fire. And however, if you step back some years, if you went way back before Montrose existed, he and Ronnie Montrose and Denny Carmassi were all in at the Edgar Winter Group, and they only come out at night album. They were on that and did Free Ride on that. And Dan has a great voice. And one of my favorite songs on that album is Autumn. Check that out. So he did a song on this album, right? And I wasn't working for St. Louis Music at the time, but my friend Guy was. And he told me that T.M. Stevens was going to come and visit, bass player T.M. Stevens, who worked with so many different people. And so I said, okay, well, what's he worked on? Well, one of the things he had done is that single for Dan Hartman. He played on that. And I said, well, I have a single of that I got from the radio station when I worked in the radio station. So I took that in with me, and that's why I got that record for $1. This one is great for the cover. Come and Get It. Rick James, Stone City Band. There you go. I didn't know much about Rick James's music. I didn't know much about Rick James, of course. Some things that I know about Rick James, I wish I didn't have to find out about Rick James. But it is what it is. And I still enjoy the music, getting into the music that I wasn't into, because he had this vision of bringing funk and hard rock together, and I didn't ever realize that. And I enjoy the music. This has got some major wear on it, but that's what makes some of them fun, right? And it's the Doors, Strange Days. Look at that. That is classically worn. That is somebody who didn't give a shit where they put their albums, how they stacked them, whatever, you know. But I had to get that. I thought, wow, that would be great on the wall. It'd be fantastic. Let's see what it's got for a sleeve. Yeah, it's got the real deal sleeve in here with the lyric sheet on it. There you go. And the classic photo of the band. I don't know that I've ever owned this album, so I didn't realize that classic photo. Who took that photo, by the way? I wonder. Does it say? Let's see if it says on the outside here. Cover concept and art direction, cover photography, Joel Brodsky. I guess he did that, unless there's I don't know. I don't know if he put that photo together or not. Interesting. Classic, but that's a classic photo. Classic. All right. Come on, baby. You can do it. Thank you. Had to get this one because it reminds me, of course, I used to, as a kid, my dad's still with me. But for every Christmas, I would get him a Barry Manilow album. So this album cover was in really good shape. And I thought, well, maybe. And is that Mandy? That might be. So But yeah, so I thought, oh, I'll get that for $1, and yep, it's got the original sleeve inside. Lyrics. I'll take a look at the vinyl later. But yeah, these are some. I love these songs though. It's got some great stuff. Trying to Get the Feeling is a really good track. One of the big hits. One of the big hits. Let's see who. Ron Dante. What other hits are on this one? New York City Rhythm is on here. Trying to Get the Feeling again. Bandstand Boogie. Good Lord. I mean, I Write the Songs. His cover of that is on here. Good Lord. Beautiful Music. Jeez whiz. Okay. All right. I suppose if you have to have that many hits on one record, you just got to have it. Now, this one, I was telling my wife about it yesterday. I thought this would be cute. And I don't know if Todd Rundgren ever thought about it this way. Hearing somebody go, this would be cute in my grandkids' rooms. That's a great cover. Really neat. Colorful. Yeah, it's really neat. There's the back cover. So, but yeah, couldn't pass that up. And then this is a classic album cover too, and had to get it. Firefall, first album. And there's the band. And if you notice, there's Mark Andes. Mark Andes would later go on to be in Heart. This album cover is in such good shape. It looks like the vinyl should be okay, but there's no sleeve on the inside, but it's not in good shape. But the cover sure is, and it's the Hooters. Or is it just Hooters? It's not it's just Hooters. Right? Yeah. Just Hooters. Nervous Night. Great record. Great hits. And We Dance, Day by Day, All You Zombies, and Where Did the Children Go? Those are all hits from this record. Don't Take My Car Out Tonight that's a great song. Hanging on a Heartbeat is great. South Ferry Road, She Comes in Colors, and Blood from a Stone, besides all of their hits. Such a great record, but the vinyl is shit. This one, I just had to get it. Now you'll notice it's got, unfortunately, they wrote their name on it, but it's so cute. Look at this. I'll see if I can zoom in without showing you what it is. Look how cute that is. Somebody had to write their name on the front. But yeah, you can see it's not in the best of shape, but it's On the Border by Eagles. And again, not the Eagles, just Eagles. See, it's got plenty of stain down the side here, but that's all right. I probably wouldn't mind die cutting around this somehow, or just cropping it a bit and getting that stain off of there or something. We'll see what happens. But either way, it's cool artwork. And there you go. This has got Already Gone on it. Some of the big songs, Already Gone, On the Border, James Dean, Best of My Love, of course. Old 55 is pretty well known too. So that's it for that. And I think that's about it for now. I did do some pickups the other day, but I don't have the shirts right here. So I'll do another thing where I'll couple that. I did some pickups the other day from Marketplace, and I'll share those with you here later, because there is some bits of music in there and a couple of surprises. So, all right. Well, I'll let you guys get rolling. I will get rolling and get to my rehearsing and walking my dog and getting my gear together, because it's been a while since I've done the Edge of Blue gig, so my gear gets shifted around, and I'm like, yeah, if I don't get that together, I'm going to be a flipping mess tomorrow. So, all right. Thanks for hanging with me. Thanks everybody for jumping in and saying hello. I really appreciate that in the chat. And we are heading into the weekend. So we got St. Patrick's Day coming up next Tuesday. And I think I'm going to go hang with a friend of mine for part of that day in the morning and do a little bit of shopping. So maybe I'll have some pickups then as well. I have some stuff from another time down there. But we'll talk about some other things. Let me know, like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think you'd like to hear about. In the meantime, today is a big day. I'm sorry, I almost forgot. This is the classic Intellivision right here, right? So now they have the Intellivision Sprint, which is out, on which it already has a bunch of games loaded. And I have one of those on the way. It's supposed to arrive today. So there's my Dr. Seuss moment for the day. These were some classic games that were on it. Some of these are classic games that are on the unit that I'm going to get today. But it's a great way to do it. This one, Star Strike, I'm really eager to play that. Tron Deadly Discs, I'm eager to get into that. Baseball, I'd get my ass kicked every time on that game. And that didn't make me too thrilled. But yeah, this is back in the day. That's what the ads looked like for the Intellivision. So, yeah, my buddy Papa Pete does a lot of showcasing of lots of Intellivision stuff. In fact, they just did a bowling thing last night. I missed it. I'll have to watch and see who won last night. But yeah, the Intellivision, also Intellivision Gamer, my buddy who popped in here earlier too, Casey. He talks all about it as well. So a couple of different places. If you love the format or forgotten all about the format, like I've tried to forget about this format, then check those guys out. They do a great job out there. Very informative, very smart about those. And it's a great retro game system that I never owned. I played it at my friend's place. Now I own one, and now I own the Sprint. So now I can kind of take that with me and play wherever I want. So not like I can play it handheld, but I'm just saying it'll be a nice addition to the retro gaming that I've got. All right, guys, have a great weekend. If you're here in the area, come on out and go to Tuners on Main and see Edge of Blue. I will be there in the band. Something I've forgotten that I always say on this show, but I can't really say that because obviously I've forgotten the last couple of times. Just a reminder that, when you're out there in the world, when you step outside your door every day, when you drive out of your driveway, you're in everybody else's world. They're not in yours. So act accordingly. It's one thing that pissed me off yesterday, or a couple days ago, when I had to take my car in for an inspection. There's a group of people sitting in there, and there's one guy looking at his phone with the speaker on. Buy some Fargan headphones. Seriously. I want to be a nice guy. Just don't do crap like that. It's so insensitive to everybody around you. So just bear that in mind. And if you can make room for somebody else, however it is, that's the problem. We've gotten into our own selves too much, and we forget to put the other person in there. And just be aware of who's around you and what's going on with them. First of all, for your own safety, but secondly, just so in case you can help somebody out. If you're in a long line at the donut store, be ready to grab the door for somebody. I grabbed the door a crap ton when I was waiting to have my emissions done the other day. I was standing by the front door anyway. So whenever anybody walk in, I just open the door. Do I have to do that? No. Am I telling you have to do that? No. But, you do it now and again, and it really makes somebody's day. And it'll probably make you feel a little better too. So just do yourself a favor and keep those things in mind. And we'll all have a better day for it. So there's our lesson for the day. I will shut up. A rockin' you bye-bye to everybody out there, all right? And you guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later.